What's next for the soldiers who survived the Sulu plane crash? To tell us, we have with us on the line retired AFP General and former Deputy Chief of Staff Restituto Padilla, who also served as a combat pilot at the Air Force. General, what's the SOP? What's the process and the path ahead for the soldiers, whether or not they can get back to military service?
Hi, Robbie. First of all, it's the physical condition of the survivors that will matter. So that's one of the most important requirements that will be assessed by our doctors. So if there is a capacity for that soldier to serve, even on a limited capacity, he can be declared either P2. So there's a declaration. P1 is the most physically fit with no restrictions on the health of the person. P2 is slightly disabled because of perhaps a battle casualty or some disability acquired through the service. So in this case, these are acquired because they were serving and they were about to deploy. So doctors will assess if they have the capacity to serve, and if they have, they will be relegated to admin positions to continue on with their careers, but no longer in the line of fire, so to speak, or at the combat zone, but in a more supportive or administrative nature.
Okay. Now, on a related matter, you earlier said the crash could have been caused by system failure. What exactly does that mean? And given the little amount of information that we have, do you have any reason to rethink what may have happened?
Robbie, I'd like to first qualify that I'm no longer the spokesman for the Armed Forces nor for the Air Force. So what I will be saying are personal opinions. So the investigation of an aircraft accident actually tries to get to the bottom of Hawaii and how it happened. And there are three factors that accident investigators usually look into. Number one is environmental, the other is material, and the other is human. So the environmental factor seems to have been ruled out because the weather was fine. There was no untoward weather disturbance that could be told as having had an effect on the performance of the aircraft. So the second one is material, and the third one is humans. For the material, it's the systems on the aircraft, as you have mentioned. So there could have been a failure of the brake system. There could have been a failure in the reverse prop system that would have stopped the forward movement of the aircraft. So what I'm saying will be speculative in nature, but that is part and parcel of the task of the investigation team on the ground, to look at every angle to get all the potential information that are available in the area from eyewitnesses, from video recordings done by bystanders and others in the area, from official records of the tower, the ATO who manages the airfield, and all of any possible information that could be had. And then the investigators will make a ruling based on whatever evidences that can support it. And one of the most important things that came out of yesterday's development was the recovery of the flight data recorder. So the flight data recorder has a cockpit voice recorder that would provide the last-minute interaction inside the cockpit. So whatever there was that came between the pilot and his crew inside the cockpit would have been recorded by that voice recorder, and it will impact a lot on the investigation. So the investigators will have an idea of what really happened at the last minute. Okay. And more than that, the vital signs, so to speak, of the aircraft, which are recorded also on the flight data recorder, would be available for analysis. And the investigators will rely on those data to be able to assess if any of the systems within the aircraft were fully functioning prior to the incident, or if some of them have failed. So those are the things that we will be looking after or looking forward to hearing about from the analysis of the flight data recorder. Now, on the human side, the investigators will review the training of the pilots and the crew. They will assess the performances that they have had prior to the incident. If there was any incident that might indicate or reveal a potential human factor item that would or probably help or contribute to an accident. So if there are any of this that will come out from the investigation, they will be part and parcel of the final report.
Okay, salamat po, General. Former AFP spokesperson and former Deputy Chief of Staff, Restituto Padilla.